And hello, everyone, and welcome to a particularly special episode of the Pumpkin Copter Cast. I am joined once again by a man who has far too many podcasts, some would say, a McElroy brother amount. I'm joined by Chris Chipman, or I first known him as the guy who was in the spooky woods with the game over thinker literally the entire time he was.
Thanks, Tyler, for having me on again. Yes, I am. I am Chris Chipman, aka the Chippa, brother of Movie Bob, and the Game Overthinker, uh, and also many ninjas and many other characters, and the Anti-Thinker when he had a mask on.
Yep, so as literally everyone everywhere knows, at the time of this recording, in April 7th, in the almost imaginary year of 2020, things aren't going super good. Like,
No, not at all.
yeah, we
We
know,
we we are living through an odd facsimile of a cinematic end time right now. It's very weird.
yeah. And well, I know we'll get through it eventually. It's really important to have things to keep us going until that eventually actually happens. And, as anyone who has been involved in any of the entertainment industries knows that, sometimes those industries have less than ideal parts, and anyone who's played video games or followed video games or has had a video game type channel on Twitch or YouTube knows that can be especially true in the game industry. And I think, like, just in general, but now since we're going through a whole bunch of mess, it's important to be reminded of, why there are so many video game communities, like official business like and just casual things that, just it's important to remember like why video games are a thing and why so many people love them and love forming communities around them in the first place. And so I pose this question to Chris Chipman, and hopefully many others will follow. So, Chris, in your own words, why do you love video games?
It is a great question for the time we're living in because I think as something that has evolved into a medium in which you can actually play in a community and still social distance and be safe. Video games are a perfect thing for people that maybe have never touched them. Or just that's that thing that my kid does when they're not doing their homework or whatever, all these negative connotations that games have had. I think the community is as big and as important as it is today because of how video games started. And what I mean was how video games started for me. And you say the word video game community, and that's the exact thing I want to say about why I love video games is it's the community aspect of it. Now, I love a damn good single player game, but I love a damn good single player game because you can talk with your friends and your family about where they're at on it and what they've done on it. I think back to the first time I ever went to an arcade. Arcades were never a singular experience. They're loud, they're noisy, they're full of people. If someone's hitting a high score in a game, a crowd comes around and starts cheering behind them. It's always been a community aspect, and I love the idea of it's not necessarily being better than someone, it's being amazed that someone can be that good or be amazed that a game can tell you this kind of story. In my house with my parents when we were younger and we had an NES, my parents would grab the Nintendo Power and help my brother and I, who, when the NES first came out, we first had it, my brother was 6 or 7 years old and I was 3 or 4. So these are not, developed children in their teens that are going to be able to, these NES games were hard. You know what I mean? And so getting through a game like Ninja Gaiden, getting through a game like Wizards and Warriors, getting through a game like Castlevania 2, this became a family exercise where we were all, okay, no, go try over here, go into that room, find that potion, do this. And video games, evolved more from that. And I feel like even though the games got better, it was never still about the singular experience. The reason Final Fantasy VII was such a big deal was because everyone was experiencing this new story with this new visual look and these new graphics. And you wanted to tell your friends. I ended up getting a PlayStation and breaking like the rule in my household of only video game system that will ever be is Nintendo. And I got a PlayStation because I had to play Final Fantasy VII because everyone told you, oh my God, you won't believe, like, I've never seen something like this in a game, and I've never played something like this in a game. And then you'd still be in a room, I guess they call it like, the 4-player couch games or whatever, where it's a group of people watching one person play. And games have grown into a multiplayer thing, which I feel, even though you're still sitting there by yourself, there's still a community aspect. You can get on, you can talk to people. And I feel like the world is shifting back into that being a positive experience rather than, just getting on there and dunking on people on Call of Duty and the negative viewpoint, because you get games that require that collaborative effort to get through. It's not me against you, it's me with you trying to make it through. And, in a time like this where we can't actually be with each other playing these games, this online community that's appeared is becoming more and more important. I just the other night got all my friends from the Blockbuster days together, and we played Quiplash, some Jackbox games over Discord. And just the ability to be having a conversation like we're in the same room, but also have a game on and play a game and not have to put each other in danger is just such a positive thing. And if video games can help get people some positivity in this not very positive real world situation we're dealing with here, and give people more of a reason to listen to your, what's right and stay home and not cause people danger, then isn't that a great thing? Doesn't it just bring it back to the very first great like memory that we probably all have of games, of just sitting around together and having it be a joyous entire evening or entire afternoon event that just kind of shuts down all of the negative. And that's why I love video games.
Okay. And yeah, that brings us to the conclusion of the first, and hope, and if I can do anything about it, not the last episode of Why We Love Video Games. And I would like to thank Chris Chipman, aka the Chippa, for taking a bit of time out of his day to talk about, why he loves video games.
You're very welcome, Tyler.
And yes, if anyone who's watched this has their own stories of why they love video games, put it in the comment section. I think there's right now especially there's a real deficit in stories that are just a universal good. And I know, like, I myself have had many a good experience in the community of video games, and I would love to hear all of yours. So yes, thank you very much for this particularly special episode of the Pumpkin Copter Cast, and we have a gourd day, everyone.
I love it. Have a gourd day. Yes.